That should be fair. So that should be maybe a minute or two. Tops to read all that. If you want, I can read it.
Nah, we'll do the typical intro as is.
And you want to go in the store and mess with him. He working in the back.
I'll do, okay, so we'll do my intro, sponsor plug, Pat, you, and then you'll go in, or after you wrap up the shopping center, I'll do the first one, you do the second one, and then I'll do this. And then, of course, that'll
You're doing this one right here? Or want me to do this?
Obviously, the two teams celebrating championships. And welcome to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella alongside Pat Garianis, and we have a loaded show for you, including a former star from the high school levels of football in the state of Delaware, and of course, he's getting ready to become an NFL draft player, of course, player selected in the draft. Quadree Henderson joins us on the show. We'll get to that in a second, but first, we want to thank Gary and Nick, of course, the owners of Hooters, for allowing us to do the show every Wednesday, 7 o'clock, right here at Hooters, 136, the Astro Shopping Center. And, of course, you can watch it live on 302 Sports on YouTube.
That's exactly right. And as well with Quadree, we also have a little spring sports preview coming up. So stick around for that to get all you need to know about the spring sports in the state of Delaware. And once again, we say it all the time. We're going to continue to say it. If you have any highlights, scores, stats, or other information you'd like to see on the show, we're here for you guys. So just hit us up. Go to the website, 302sports.com. Email us, 302sports@gmail.com. Hit us up on social media at 302 Sports, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Of course, get interactive on Twitter. We like to put our poll questions out there and whatnot. And then add us on Snapchat. We're on Snapchat now, sports_302. Or just come right down here and take the experience in live here at the Hooters of Newark.
Yes, and of course, before we get to our special guest, we would like to congratulate two teams. First, the Conrad Red Wolves girls basketball team. They won the state title, the DIA Girls State Championship.
Yeah, and that was a great game.
Fantastic game.
49-46 final in that one. And then also got to give a big congrats to my alma mater, St. Elizabeth, winning their first boys state championship in basketball in school history and their first appearance in school history. So congrats to them. Obviously, the two teams are celebrating their championships this week, so we will have them on set next Wednesday for the special championship show as well. Both teams, be sure to mark your calendars. It's Wednesday, March 21st, 7 o'clock, right here at Hooters in Newark. Come down and join us right here on YouTube channel.
Yep, but of course, right now we have Quadree Henderson, the AI DuPont alumni, now former Pitt Panther football star and soon-to-be NFL player. We'll see where he goes in a couple of months, actually 1 month, as we have the draft. Thank you so much for joining us again. And before we get into our interview, we want to play you a highlight package of Quadree's highlights, of course, from his high school and college days.
Henderson off the skirt punt. Trying to get around the backside. And he'll break free.
Quadree Henderson. He's got a couple touchdowns already this year. And Henderson's into the clear. To the 20, to the 10. He's gone.
Henderson from the 1. Across the 20, sidesteps the tackler into the open field. One man to beat. He could go. The 40, the 30. No flags.
Bouncy number that Henderson plays on the fly at the 25. Looking for the edge. Inbounds 40, 45, 50. Look out, Henderson. 25, gotta beat him. 15, 10, 5. Did he get in? Kick the doggone thing in. Henderson stands his place on its head.
You know, part of it's the blocking, but a lot of it is number.
Middle camera net.
Of course, joining us on set, Quadree Henderson, NFL hopeful. Quadree, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting
That
me.
was a fun highlight package right there to bring back some memories, right?
Yeah, it brought back a lot of memories.
Well, Quadree, in a few months, your NFL journey will come to fruition. What's been the process like for Quadree Henderson?
The process has been very hard working. Right after I got done my collegiate career, I took a week off and I went straight down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, trained with XPE. Matt Gates, one of the top trainers for combine people, he provided me with the best, care, rehabilitation, and everything. Did a lot of speed work, a lot of lifting. He really prepped me well for the combine.
All right, now we had the combine a couple weeks ago, Quadree, and your times you ran a 4.5 in the 40, 12 reps on the bench press, 32.5-inch vertical leap, broad jump. I think that's what it says, 120 inches, 3-cone drill at 6.89 seconds, 20-yard shuttle, 4.28 seconds. What was that experience like, and how much did you enjoy that moment, taking part in it?
I enjoyed it a lot. I've been dreaming of that opportunity since I was 5. Just being a young kid at the age of 5, you see people on TV running in the combine. You're like, man, I want to do that. So, I really started to take football serious to get to this next level. But, in Indianapolis, it was a hectic schedule. We had to be up at like 6 o'clock every morning, do a lot of psychological tests. But it was everything I expected it to be. I really enjoyed my time up there.
And you were there with fellow Panther and former Delaware star as well, Brian O'Neill. And we saw Brian O'Neill's 40 time. It popped all over social media running that sub 5:40. What was it, being his teammate, did you know he could run that fast, and were you just not surprised?
I definitely knew Brian could run that fast. He played tight end in high school at Sally's. A couple of days before the combine, I saw him in the hallway, and I pulled him aside and said, how you think you're going to do? He said, I'm going to kill all the drills and I'm going to run the fastest 40. And he went out there and did that. So, it was good to go out there and see him do that.
Now Quadree, obviously, a lot of players, they have inspirations. When you look at great kick returners in the past, your Dante Halls, your Devin Hesters, even going back to Brian Mitchell, showing us with Deion Sanders. Mm-hmm. Was there anybody that, as a kid growing up, that you idolized and tried to mold your game after?
I was definitely Devin Hester. Coming from Miami and then playing with the Bears, after I seen them take the first Super Bowl kickoff back for a touchdown, the first one in history of the NFL, I idolized him. Being one of the best kick returners, really means a lot to me. Even at Pittsburgh. So, that trickled down into Tavon Austin and Tyreek Hill. I think those smaller guys paved the way for us little guys that, have a huge impact in the NFL.
And of course, a lot of those guys, gadget players. We'll get to that in a second. I want to ask you, this is probably the most cliche question, but is there a specific team that you would be a little amped up if they drafted you?
I would say 2 teams. The Carolina Panthers. I grew up liking them since I was a kid, and also the 49ers. My dad's a big 49ers fan, so if I get drafted by the 49ers, he'd go crazy.
How about a team that's like 30 minutes up 95?
I don't care who picks me up. I just need the opportunity to play.
That's exactly right. I'd be in the same boat if I were you. But obviously you have an elite skill as a kick returner and punt returner. It's a bit of an art form because not everybody can do it, obviously. So for you, what goes into being a kick returner, and what do you think is the key to being elite at it like you are?
There's a lot of things that go into being an elite kick returner. First, you start off with the coach. You need a great special teams coach. I praise Coach Andre Powell. he gave me the opportunity to showcase my abilities back there. But being a great return man, it all comes down to vision, quickness, also studying film. Who makes the most tackles on special teams? The weak side, the strong side. So we always took it to the weaker side. You just got to be patient as a return man. You can't catch the ball, go 100 miles per hour like a road runner. You got to set up blocks, wait for your blockers to make contact with the defenders. Once you see that first hole, you just got to take it. And then from there, just like a punt return to me, I'm in open space. The rest is up to me.
Now to go over some of your accolades as a returner. All-American honors, of course, you led the FBS in total return yardage. You also had quite a few returns. We actually showed one for the Military Bowl. But all these things about returning, a lot of teams think of you as return. Do you get frustrated with that? Do you, in your mind, you're a receiver, but teams mostly think of you as a returner? I
don't get frustrated at all. I see myself as a return man first, receiver second. I'm very versatile. I can do it all. Play outside, play the slot, go in the backfield, run the screen pass. For any team. So I don't get frustrated at all. It's the game of football. You just got to play how you play.
Now you first burst on the scene, at least here in Delaware, back in high school. You were the top overall recruit in Delaware in 2014. You were first team All-State as a receiver. 36 catches, 826 yards, 13 touchdowns. You have 4 picks as a defensive back and 2 kick returns for a touchdown, all at AI DuPont High School. What are some of your favorite memories going back into your high school days?
My favorite memories going back into my high school days, like every game. You build a bond with all those people in high school that you play with. People that you never even spoke to on the football team. You don't speak to them in school. Like when you first see them, like the first couple of weeks of school, but you get on that football field, everybody's all amped up. So I would say that my whole high school career, I can't single out one moment because I loved it all.
Now, talking about your high school career at AI, you were a multi-sport athlete. We're starting to see that become a trend. A lot of athletes going pro in whatever sport, they've played multiple sports. Can you kind of comment on what the advantages are of being a multi-sport athlete in football or any sport really?
Well, one of the advantages are Wilmington is really not like a safe place to live. So I always wanted to stay out of trouble. I come from a good background. My mom works at a hospital. My dad's a barber. My sister's in school. So I was never into the street life, and I always played an extra sport, just to keep me active. Keep me fit, keep me away from trouble. So being a multi-sport athlete just basically kept me out of trouble. So that was the reason behind playing basketball, running track, and playing football.
I think that's good as well. And what I hear a lot of coaches, and maybe you can attest to this, Quadree, they like to say, we like kids that play multiple sports because sometimes the skill sets transition. Can you attest to that at all? Do you think maybe having that background in multi-sports has helped you specifically with football?
Yeah. I'll start with Brian O'Neill. You hear the first day I got on Pitt, he played tight end in high school. He put on a bunch of weight to go play tackle. That's why we ran a bunch of trick passes to him. We knew he could still catch, he could still run. Praise to Matt Canada for getting him used in the offense. But it's him playing basketball. Everybody knows that. Other teams didn't know that, but I knew it. Coming out of Delaware, I know Brian. That's like one of my best friends on the team. I talked to him earlier actually, but this playing 2 sports, it really helps you. Coaches see a lot of that. It keeps you fit.
And I want to ask you about this. You wear the number 10, and in college, players wear every kind of number. But there's a story. There's an emotional story behind that number. Can you kind of go into detail about what the number 10 means to you?
The number 10 means a lot to me. My freshman year of AI, I had number 28. I started the season with an injury, so I got the number 28. Then going into my sophomore year, I had a childhood friend. His name was Chad Jones. He was diagnosed with stage 4 neuroblastoma. That really touched me. I used to go to his practices, mess around with him because always a little kid. He was always on the younger teams. Seeing him being so strong 1 month, to being so weak 1 month, that really took a toll on me. Life is not really promised. You could be here one day and go on the next day. So I really just switched my number to show him that I was still here for him. Somebody was always in his corner. I even got a tattoo for him. I just ran routes with him yesterday at AI. So that's why I changed my number to 10, all because of him. He beat cancer. So happy going from that.
That's awesome. That's great. Whenever you got an emotional story behind that little significance to it, that's really awesome. That's commendable. Last question here. Many high school football players that we're watching and just athletes in general from the state of Delaware, they want to be in your shoes maybe in a couple of years. They look up to you like, oh, here's a guy from our part of town, trying to chase down his dream. And they're sitting there hoping to be there in 4 or 5 years. What advice can you give to them, Quadree, as far as, staying to the grind and trying to achieve their dreams?
The advice, the first thing I would say, schoolwork. Schoolwork first. You can't go anywhere without the schoolwork. You might have 100 touchdowns during the season, but you get F's in the classroom, you're not going to have no offers. So, just a waste of talent. The schoolwork, you got to stay in the weight room, keep your body fit, stay away from the negativity in life, and surround yourself with people on the same mission as you. To my left is one of my friends I had since I was 5 years old. I'm 21 now, so we've been together since we were little. Never been in trouble, never going to get in trouble, especially being around me. Basically, school, staying out of trouble, staying in the weight room.
Awesome
Promising
advice.
career awaits Quadree Henderson. We'll see what happens in a month. Quadree, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Quadree Henderson, Pitt Panther, NFL hopeful. We will see him on Sundays. We'll see you back in a break on 302 Sports Weekly. Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Preseason with Pat Garianis, and hope to thank Quadree Henderson, Pat. NFL hopeful. We'll see him on Sundays.
Yeah, I'm just going to go into this. Yeah, it started at Pitt. Quick read through, very alert on the now. This is the real .com saying about as far as scouting. Then after that, they went into preview, spring preview. The spring peepers peeping.
Henderson off the start line. Trying to get around the backside. And he'll break free.
Quadree Henderson. He's got a couple touchdowns already this year. And Henderson's into the clear. To the 20, to the 10. He's gone.
Henderson from the 1. Across the 20, sidesteps the tackler into the open field. One man to beat. He could go. The 40, the 30. No flags.
Bouncing number that Henderson plays on the fly at the 25. Looking for the edge. Inbounds 40, 45, 50. Look out! Henderson! 25. Gotta beat him. 15, 10, 5. Didn't get in. Kick the doggone thing in. Henderson stands his place on its head.
You know, part of it's the blocking, but a lot of it is number.
And welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella alongside Pat Garrett. I want to thank Quadree Henderson for stopping by and doing that interview with us.
Absolutely, and hopefully, this guy. I would love to see him in midnight green. I mean, we need a kick returner. He's one of the best, and he was the best in the country. I mean, just looking at some of the things he did at Pitt, man, came right on the scene and played 9 games as a true freshman. Had that 100-yard touchdown against Navy in the Military Bowl. That was his freshman year. You saw that in his highlight reel. He was All-American as a sophomore. He led the FBS in total return yardage, 1,166 yards. He was third with just under 16 yards per punt return. He had one punt return for a touchdown. He had 30.5 yards as a kick return. He had 3 or 4 return touchdowns as a sophomore. And then this year, he had, I believe, he ended up passing as Pitt's all-time leading returner with 7 returns for a score. And going into the NFL draft, one thing that's interesting you like to see, not only do you like to see where they go in a mock draft, but you like to see what the scouts think of them. And NFL.com, this is their scouting report on him. Quadree's a dangerous return specialist who offers potential value as a gadget slot receiver. His lack of hesitation and his ability to get to a top speed quickly and stay there is what gives him a shot at having early success as both a punt and kick returner. While Henderson could have an NFL career as a return man only, he has enough potential to warrant a roster spot as both a return man and a slot receiver for teams looking for a playmaker. So he has a niche in the NFL. It's just a matter of not, who gives him that opportunity.
Yeah, it's on the website as well. It's NFL comparison. Eric Weems. So, but nonetheless, I think we have a future star here, and hopefully, again, a guy we see the Eagles drafting some point in time during the draft. We'll see if we'll see him midnight green. We will see him though on Sundays. We will see girls soccer coming up soon. We have Nick Alessandrini and Jason Winchell joining us. Guys, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
So let's talk about what's going on with girls soccer in the preseason. The top 10 Division II going on right now. Caravel, Tower Hill, Newark Charter, Archmere, DMA, Ursuline, Indian River, Delmar, Friends, and St. Mark's. Charter, Appoquinimink, St. George's Tech, Cape Henlopen, Newark, Sussex Tech, and Concord. All right, we're looking at this. We're looking at D1. We're going to start with them. Why is the defending D1 champions, Jason? Middletown is not the #1 seed to start the season.
No, and they lost a couple of their key scorers from last year. They're contributed about 70% of their goals to graduation. And Padua brings in a class of some good freshmen and sophomores to the program. And I think that right now, if they play together, I think Padua would win, and that's probably why they're #1 right now. But it's a long season, so last year Padua in that championship game, I think had like 15 shots to Middletown's 4, and Middletown scored the only goal. So in soccer, I think it's one sport where the best team doesn't always have to win.
Yeah, and last year in Division II, we had a Caravel Tower Hill matchup in the state championship game. They come into the season, preseason, first and second. Is this just based off of last year's results, or do you see potentially these two teams going forward and on a crash course yet again to have a repeat matchup in a state title game?
Well, I think both teams got a lot of talent coming back, so they're ranked 1 and 2 right there. You know that it's definitely a possible outcome for the state championship game. But there are some other teams you have to pay attention to too, such as DMA, Archmere, and Newark Charter. Those are 3 teams that could possibly throw a wrench in that matchup. But for the most part, they're ranked 1 and 2 right now. I can definitely see it happening here again this year.
Awesome. And of course, we look at some teams that didn't make the top 10 in there as the season goes on. But are there teams, I guess I should say, are there teams that are in the top 10 or outside the top 10 that definitely you see working their way into the top 10 as the season progresses, Jason?
Yeah, I think St. Mark's is low. They're ranked 10th right now. in Division II. They had a tough start to last year's season, but they got stronger as the season went on. They went undefeated in indoor soccer league this year. Now, that's a little different than outdoor soccer, but still, if you have the talent to succeed in indoor soccer, you'll have it outdoor. Their schedule's real tough, though, and that's the one hindrance. They play 4 of the teams ranked in Division I in the top 10 and 5 teams in Division II ranked in the top 10. So 9 of their 15 matches are against ranked teams. So it's a difficult schedule, but a team that I think if they win some of those games, they could jump into the top 5 in Division II. No problem.
Now, top 5 teams are what everybody kind of pays attention to. Like, those are the serious contenders. But you got to keep an eye on teams 6 through 10, right? Because they're the teams that, are getting some respect, but not the respect maybe as an elite team within the state. And Nick, what are some teams ranked 6 through 10 in our preseason polls in both divisions that you see potentially making a run to get into a top 10 or top 5 as the season goes on?
Well, like Jason talked about, St. Mark's is one of them in D2, but also I'm going to throw in Indian River as well. I know Jason talked about St. Mark's and how they're playing late, but Indian River is a team that I look at this year that might be able to make a splash and make it into the top 10. A team kind of talented like St. Mark's, just if they do well with their schedule and do what they can do, I think they can make it in the top 10 too.
Well, we go on from one sport dominated by women to another. Softball coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly as our spring preview show rolls on.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you, for all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions, Dover Federal Credit Union.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
And welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pennell alongside Pat Garenis. Really quickly before we move on to softball, I want to talk D1 soccer, go through the rankings again. At number 1, we have Padua, and of course number 2, Middletown. Cesar Rodney at 3, Wilmington Charter at 4, Appoquinimink, St. George's Tech, Cape Henlopen, Newark, Sussex Tech, and Concord rounding out the top 10 for soccer. Of course, as the season rolls on, we will have more for you in girls soccer. Moving on to softball, right now the preseason top 10 goes as follows. Del Mar, the number 1 team in the nation. At number 2, it's Milford, Indian River. Yeah, Del Mar.
In the nation, huh?
Or state.
Sorry.
Thinking something else. It's Indian River, of course, Delaware Military Academy, Caravel, Newark Charter, Lake Forest, St. George's Tech, Padua, and Redline in our top 10 in the state.
There it is.
All right, so questions moving forward here, Jason. The defending champion Milford ranked number 2, below Del Mar, the team they beat the championship. What's the reason for that?
Well, Milford graduated like 6 of their top players from last year's team to graduation. Some playing in Division I softball, so they're really good. They lost some really good talent. Del Mar was young. They only had 2 seniors on the team last year. They weren't expected to get to the state final, and they went and ran through everyone in the playoffs to get to the final game. And so I think they're the perfect team to lead off the year at number 1. The question is, can they stay there?
Now, a common theme so far in many of the sports throughout the state of Delaware this year is the Henlopen Conference is getting stronger. And in a lot of sports, it's been primarily the northern schools kind of doing most of the damage, but the Henlopen Conference is coming back. Softball is an exception. They are normally a very strong conference within the softball, and you see that 4 Henlopen South teams ranked in the top 7 spots. Nick, talk about those 4 teams and why they're so good this year for those top 7 spots.
Well, if you look at the past, me and Jason were talking about this, the Henlopen South is kind of known, especially the last few years, as having a lot of softball talent, especially downstate. We see the travel teams and how well they're performing during the summertime, and there's always a Delaware team. If you turn on the TV on ESPN, they're playing in the World Series of softball. You always see that Delaware team on there. So it's just kind of been a theme that's ongoing, and definitely is going to see it again this year, as there's a lot of top teams, 4 out of the 7 in the top 10 this year. So just the same as it's always been again this year.
Talking about how strong the Henlopen is, and of course there's going to be some strong teams, 6 to 10, Jason. Is there any team that you see in that area that could make a run into the top 5 this year and possibly challenge in Milford or Delmar?
I'm going to go Padua. They have a very strong offense. The problem with them and why they're starting in the 9th position is they lost their all-state pitcher to graduation, Abby Cunningham, who's playing at Shippensburg University. But she's been their pitcher since freshman year, so she's thrown all the pitches. So they need someone to step into her shoes and fill in. Offensively, they have the talent to be up there with the top teams in the state. The question is, who's going to fill that role as the pitcher? And if they find a good pitcher, they can be in the top 5 if not too long into the season.
And then, we talk about those 6 through 10, teams ranked 6 through 10. Every year there's a team that sneaks up on us, and it's been like that throughout, various sports within the state of Delaware this year. What team outside the top 10 do we feel like can make a run into the top 10 this year and at least be a contender maybe for, a tournament playoff spot?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Concord. Concord's offense has been really good. You've seen it last year as well. They have a good offense. They just need to get some pitching to help back it up. If they can get some pitching to go with that lineup, then they're a team that you might be able to see in the top 10.
Pitching's the key. That's one thing that baseball and softball are similar in that. If you can get a good pitcher, especially in softball, because they pitch pretty much every game, you're pretty good. You're in good shape.
Yeah, there's no pitch count in softball, so they can pitch the whole game and back-to-back games. So.
Yeah. It's the beautiful thing about softball. There is no controlling the pitchers. They just go out there and let it rip. Of course, baseball and softball, 2 sports you will see this summer and, of course, spring into the summer on 302 Sports on YouTube. What you'll also see is the grand finale. We're coming up on that next, right, Pat?
No, we're not.
Oh, baseball's coming up next.
Got you again, Benny.
Got me again. 500 off night. Baseball coming up next on 302 Sports Weekly.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley, cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
As a military wife, I love helping our airmen and their families with financial tools to help provide financial stability.
I promise to make a positive difference in your financial life, from helping you to lower your payments to discovering ways to help you save for your children's future.
From the needs of college students and first-time auto buyers, I promise to identify and take ownership of your needs.
Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union.
Brian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
No matter where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you. For all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. I'm your bubbling host, Benny Pinello, alongside Pat Cariani's. Not a great day for me. Baseball time. It's baseball time, Pat.
That's your favorite sport,
my
man.
favorite sport. I do love baseball.
I heard you were quite the ball player back in the day.
I'm the least athletic member of my family.
Hey, you're a good base stealer. I heard you were a good base stealer.
I was quick enough to steal bases, but getting on them was difficult. All right, now we're going to get to the top 10 right now in baseball. Number 1 is Carabel. Number 2, of course, Cape Henlopen. DMA rounds out at number 3. Sally's, Conrad, Newark, Charter, St. Mark's, Hodgson, Smyrna, and Appoquinimink take the rest of the ladder as chalk right there. That's our top 10. And the defending champions are the top-ranked team. Despite coaching change and losing some top players, Jason, to graduation, when a team goes through that much change and you see players leave and you see coaches leave, it's almost like a brand new program. What makes people believe that they're still a number 1 team?
Well, they get Chris Moxley, who was the head coach at Hodson. And Hodson had a great year last year, got into the playoffs before losing to Slasianum in the quarterfinals. But they were a great team, and he's a great coach. He was at Slasianum while I was there back in the 90s, and he was a catcher, all-state catcher. He's a really great player, and his knowledge of the team. And then they bring back their 2 stud pitchers, so pitching-wise, they'll be fine. They were a little slow, and they're going to be a little slow probably finding offense early in the season with a tough schedule. They play Newark, Charter, and Slasianum, and 2 teams ranked in the top 10 to start the season early in the season. So we'll see if their offense can pick it up and they can prove everybody wrong why they're the number 1 team.
You know, Nick, one team that's pretty much dominated baseball in the state of Delaware for a while is where you guys went to school, St. Mark's. Then year in and year out, they got themselves a program. This year, a little lower than normal, I would think, to start the year off at number 7. Still in the top 10, however. Are they a team potentially you could see jump into a top stop before the season's end, or is there another team in that top 10 that you think can move up?
Yeah, I mean, for St. Mark's 1, you can never count them out. We've seen in past years where they've been ranked similar spots, and then Coach Matt Smith just does something magical, then they make a run in the tournament, and then they win a title. But they do have to replace 3 pitchers from last year. That's going to be tough, so if they can do that, they have a shot. Another team, I know it's not too far down the list, they're ranked 2nd, but it would be Cape Henlopen. It's a great pitching staff for Cape Henlopen. But the question mark for them is, can they score the runs to go with it? Last year they lost a lot of low-scoring games, but if they can combine that pitching with some hitting this year, they're a team that could find themselves maybe in the top spot as well.
And Sally's is going to be another strong team. They bring back 3 of their best pitchers from last year. Ryan Campbell leading the way for the Sal's in the circle. They do have to replace all-state catcher Zach Miller, who's playing at UD. They got to replace him behind the plate, but if they do, I think they have the talent to compete for the state championship this year.
Of course, at the bottom of the top 10, you see a couple of MOT schools. You have Smyrna, Appoquinimink in that Middletown, Odessa, Smyrna area. Are there any other teams inside the top 10, but not quite the top 5, that you see making a jump that 6 to 10 area?
I'm going to go Newark Charter. Okay. I think they're a really good team. They're going to be really good, and I think they're going to sneak up on some team. Yeah, Nick McCulley is one of the coaches. They got some good players. I was worried about the pitching, but Nick said that he thinks they'll be fine there. So they're a team that I think can jump into the top 5. They opened the season, I believe, at Caravel. So on a Tuesday night. So
Starting
in
off
March.
hard.
Yeah.
Starting
So
off tough there.
their first 7, I think they play Caravel, Slasiana, and DMA. 3 teams in the top 4 to start the season. So
that's a tough
Baseball
start.
gods are not always fair.
No, they're not. But you know what? If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. All right. Shout out Ric Flair on that one. Okay. Now we talked about, obviously we've talked about these teams in the top 10, and you know they're every team in the top 10 is a familiar name, right? Everybody knows about these schools, especially in the last few years or so. Outside the top 10, though, there's we talked about it in a lot of different sports. There's a team every now and then that just has a great year and finds their way into being a competitor. Is there anybody preseason-wise outside the top 10 that piques your interest a little bit?
You're gonna like this, Pat. I'm gonna go with St. Elizabeth's. We're gonna ride that basketball momentum right into baseball season. We all know they got Nate Thomas, who was phenomenal during the basketball season, but he's also an all-state shortstop for the baseball team.
Going to
St.
Joe's.
Joe's.
Yep.
So I mean, whenever you have someone like that, and we saw what they did the basketball season. They have a tough schedule. That's the thing about that team. But if they can win some of those games, they'll be right up in there in the mix, I think, in the top 10.
What about you, Jason?
I'm going to go another Catholic school in Archmere. Archmere always has a good program. They got a couple very good pitchers. They will play a lot of top 10 teams this year in Slasiana, St. Mark's. They'll play St. Elizabeth's. They'll play Hodson and Smyrna. So they got a tough schedule. And they have the talent, I think, that can potentially jump in the top 10 with some nice wins.
Pat, when I played baseball, I tried my hand at pitching for a little bit.
How'd that end up?
Let's just say they used to call me batting practice Ben.
I like that, man. You see me, I was the guy that I had no idea where it was going. So I think I hit as many batters as I struck out.
So when they told you to hit the mascot, you were like, I might just do that anyway.
Yeah, I'm not intentionally doing that. It just so happened. It slipped.
BP stand for more than just Ben Pinella. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk in lacrosse really quick with Jason Winchell. And then, of course, we have your final rundown. It's coming up in a little bit on 302 Sports Weekly.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. Career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today.
Back to 302 Sports Weekly. Benny Pinella, Pat Garanis, Nick Alessandrini, and Jason Winchell joining us. Of course, final subject before we get to the rundown, it's lacrosse, Pat. It's our preseason top 10.
I'll talk about some Lax Bros right here. Rock the cradle a little bit, all right? So here we go. Let's flash the graphic on the screen. Some familiar names up there on that top 5. Led by number 1, National Powerhouse Salesiana. Number 2, you got Cape Henlopen. Number 3, Caesar Rodney. And then Friends in Archmere top out that top 5. 6 through 10 looks like Dover, Appoquinimink, St. Andrews, DMA, and Tower Hill.
Interesting top 10 there. Of course, we have the National Powerhouse, which is Salesiana. Is there any chance, Jason, they may falter a little bit this year?
Well, there's always a chance. They graduated Mikey Drake.
Stud.
He scored his first college goal for Notre Dame against Denver the other day. So he's having a great success early on in his career at Notre Dame. So they lost a bunch of seniors from that team, but they always replace them. The thing with Salesianum is they play 3 teams ranked in the top 25 in the nation in their first 7 or 8 games. So their schedule's tough. They're only playing 3 in-state teams, Cape Henlopen, Cesar Rodney, and St. Mark's this year. So I think they're going to be the team to beat until somebody knocks them off.
Well, 2 of those teams you mentioned, Cape Henlopen and Cesar Rodney, are top 5 schools, and that top 5 very rarely changes. They may switch positions or so. What is it about those 5 programs that makes them so continuously dominant within the state?
I think all the, growing up, it's always Salesianum, it's always Cesar Rodney, it's Cape. So that downstate people are going to go to Cesar Rodney and Cape. Upstate, they go to Archmere, they go to Friends, they go to Salesianum. So they're always up there in the top 5. Now, the last couple of years, Appo crashed that top 5 party.
Yeah.
They graduated a lot of players, so they're going to start outside the top 5, but they're another team that can crash that top. But they're always good because all the kids coming up who play lacrosse see where the school talent is, and they're going to go to those schools to play lacrosse. And lacrosse is an up-and-coming sport. It's on a rise nationally, and you see it more and more now that there's a lot of, Salesianum gets 50, 60 kids, some freshmen that could go to other schools and play as a varsity player or trying to make the freshman team at Salesianum.
Now, we talked about 5 teams in the top 5, of course, adding Appoquinimink in there. And number 6, we have Dover. What makes Dover a team that you would put ahead of Appoquinimink? Appoquinimink did crash the top 5 in last year's polls, as we mentioned.
Yeah, Dover had a very surprising season last year. They were 11-4. Before, they were never above 500. Last year, they go 11-4. They make it into the first round of the tournament, lost a heartbreaker to DMA 15-14 in the opening round of the playoffs. They bring a lot of players back. Their top 6 goal scorers are back this year. So they're a team that I think sitting there at 6th, is the right spot for them early. The problem is they play in that Henlopen, so they got to play Cesar Rodney. They got to play Cape Henlopen. They're going to challenge themselves this year with a tougher schedule. So we'll see if they can hold on to that ranking.
Now, obviously, lacrosse has been primarily dominated by the same teams continuously year after year. However, there are teams outside the top 10 that might be able to sneak in to at least make the tournament, and then anything can happen at that point. Is there anybody outside the top 10 that piques your interest at all going into this season?
I'm going to go Caravel. They're sitting outside the top 10 right now. But I think they can make a run. They got a couple early season tests, one of them against 10th ranked Tower Hill. They're a team outside. That top 10 is pretty good top 10, so I don't know if Caravel's going to be able to make the jump in there or not. But with their schedule early, if they can knock off a Tower Hill, knock off a St. Andrews, they can make a chance to get in their top 10.
That's your look at lacrosse. Of course, we'll keep that sport posted every week on 302 Sports Weekly. We'll also cover it on 302 Sports. And shout out to Nick Hall. You'll more than likely be on that broadcast. Also, shout out, how about this? Steve Tryon, who's going to be official.
I can't wait.
For lacrosse as well. Yeah, Steve is here as well. Shout out to Mr. Steve Tryon, who is an official for lacrosse. We're taking a quick break. We come back. Steve Tryon gets a round of applause. We have the final rundown, talking all of the college sports and your players of the week coming up next.
Where you are in life, at every stage, we are here for you, for all of life's big moments, and everything in between. After all, that's what families are for. We promise to make a positive difference in your financial life and go beyond the norm. Be a part of the Dover Federal family.
Local people, local decisions. politicians, Dover Federal Credit Union.
And welcome back to 302 Sports Weekly. It is time now for the final rundown, Pat. We, of course, have to start with Goldie Beacom baseball.
Let's go right in. Let's talk a little Lightning baseball right here. They like to say hashtag ride the Lightning over there at Goldie, and that's what we're going to do right here. Second-year baseball program, Goldie Beacom senior infielder Keegan Marsden is coming off a strong week against one of the nation's top teams and was picked to the CACC Baseball Weekly Honor Roll. He batted .444 last week, home run, 2 RBIs, and a .778 slugging percentage to go with a .615 on base, which is absolutely insane. Over the 4 games at Millersville, he had 2 hits and a home run, as well as 2 RBIs in Game 1 Saturday before getting 2 more hits on Sunday. So, good job.
Going from Goldie Beacom baseball to Goldie Beacom softball. The Goldie Beacom Lightning, they made it closed its stay at the Pioneer Classic in Greenville, Tennessee, with a 9-4 loss to Belmont Abbey and an 8-0 setback against, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Tusculum, I guess it's the best way to put it. Tusculum. Goldie Beacom's next Saturday game we played at home, and it's a Central Athletic Collegiate Conference opener against Concordia, and the doubleheader at the Jackson Complex starts at 1 p.m.
And now we're moving on. Blue Hen baseball. A lot of Delaware flavor down at University of Delaware. Did not look pretty, however, for the home team early Tuesday afternoon at Bob Hanna Stadium, as the University of Delaware trailed the University of Maryland behind Billy Phillips, of course, cancer survivor to him, St. Mark's alum. 6-0 heading into the bottom of the 4th. Then it all changed. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Delaware would tie the game at 6 as Austin Nickerbrugge from Caravel
my cousin, yeah,
worked another full count walk, taking 3 consecutive wide pitches. Freshman Chris Ludman, also from St. Mark's, pitched a scoreless 9th, setting up the stage for what would be the big bop from Calvin Scott of St. Mark's. We have a video of that, actually, believe it or not. He was going to be the hero. So here we go. You can see the video.
Lofted in the right field, into the wind. Bednar on the track, at the wall, looks up. Ball game! Calvin Scott with a walk-off homer, and Delaware completes the comeback. 7-6 your final.
Touch them all, Calvin. In the wind.
Just the second hit allowed by Murphy. The first hit was a double. Scott says, well, I'll take
the walk-off W.
That's what I love about baseball's walk-off home runs. And again, shout out to Austin Nickerbrugge. He is my cousin, so it's
keeping it in the family.
Great to see that. All right, moving on to softball. Blue Hens pitcher Sarah Pining escaped the bases loaded, no out jam in the bottom of the 7th inning as University of Delaware. They held on for a 4-2 victory over Ohio University Sunday afternoon at the Liberty Classic.
Let's move on. Talk a little Wilmu, my alma mater. Their softball program finished spring break with a pair of late-game victories, defeating Mercyhurst and Bridgeport. Caitlin Whiteside allowed 2-out single in the bottom of the 7th, but induced a foul out to Kleiber to end the game 2-1. Rosalind Burton from CR, Kiana Broderson Jones, and Mirabella Claybert from Cesar Rodney all finished with 2 hits against Bridgeport. The 2 wins today give the Wildcats a 5-3 record while down in Florida, defeating 2 nationally ranked opponents. They finished the week on a 4-game win streak, improving to 8-5 on the season.
Moving over to Wilmington University baseball, the team wrapped up its spring break in an 8-0 loss, unfortunately, to nationally ranked number 18 Southern New Hampshire on Saturday afternoon at the Santa Claus Sports Complex.
You get all the names today.
I get all the names today. Did I get that right?
I guess.
You went there. The Wildcats collected 7 hits, left 6 runners on base, and the Wildcats returned north to begin their traditional regional schedule. They open on the road at Shippensburg on Wednesday, March 14th at 3 p.m. Their home and Central Athletic Collegiate Conference opener is set for Saturday, March 17th against Post at Wilson Field at 12 p.m.
Wilson Field is our home field.
That's okay.
Santa Lucis, I believe, is what that was.
Okay.
But we'll move on. Let's talk Wilmu lacrosse. All right, we just talked a little lax. Wilmington, their inaugural season for the lacrosse program this year, and unfortunately, they could not dig itself out of an early hole on Wednesday as Chowan held off a late charging Wildcat team 10-6 in non-conference action on Vincent Field. Hawks extended their lead at the 10-4 with just 13 seconds into the 4th quarter before the Wildcats tried a late game comeback. Austin Wood graduate of St. George's, scored his first career goal with 11:40 left and had the next 3 shots in the game. But they couldn't find the back of the net again until 6:29 left, as John Howell from DMA assisted on a Jake Geis from Delcastle goal. The Wildcats have a week off before returning to action next Wednesday afternoon against St. Thomas Aquinas. The opening face-off is slated for 3 p.m. in Spark Hill, New York.
And the Wesley College baseball team fell to Misericordia Cougars 9-1 at home on Tuesday. Offensively, John Jones out of Hodgson led the way with 3 hits on the day, but it was, again, a loss. Kevin Schmidt and Cody Demerchik from Cape Henlope. Again, I'm getting all the names today.
You are today.
All tallied 2 hits and 4 trips to the plate for Wesley. Schmidt collected the lone extra base hit of the game for the Wolverines with a double down the left field line to start the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Wolverines, they're back in action Friday, March 16th, and they travel to Immaculata to do battle with the Mighty Macs. First pitch set for 3:30.
Let's move right on to the Wesley College softball team. They clipped the St. Joseph's up in Connecticut Blue Jays 14-5 in 5 innings on Sunday to open the Fast Pitch Dream Spring Classic in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Wesley scored a run in every inning and tallied 17 hits. 8 of the 9 starters for Wesley registered a hit in the Run Rule W.
And moving on to the Wesley lacrosse team, the college men's lacrosse team dropped a 10-3 decision to Methodist at home on Saturday. Ben Mitzel from Milford paced the Wesley defense with 5 caused turnovers, and Joshua Short out of William Penn chipped in with 4 caused turnovers as well. The Wolverines hit the road on Wednesday when they travel to Towson, Maryland to take on the Goucher Gophers. Game time set for 7:30.
Let's move right along. Let's talk a little bit about college athletes from Delaware that aren't exactly in Delaware schools. So, start off with Wake Forest. The Demon Deacons, 7-9 overall, 2-1 in the ACC, took advantage of outstanding starts from Colin Pelouse from Middletown and Morgan McSweeney, who combined to throw 14 1/3 innings and allow just 3 total runs on 7 hits and 2 walks with 13 strikeouts. Pelouse received a no decision, but pitched well enough to win, allowing just 2 runs on 4 hits and no walks over 8 innings of work, striking out 6 batters.
Moving on to Widener, their university softball team. Of course, we got to talk about Katie Sterling. Despite a 13-5 win over the John Carroll, Sterling had 4 hits on the day.
Moving on, Wagner University college men's basketball team stood toe-to-toe with the Baylor Bears of the Big 12 for long stretches before the Bears pulled away late in an 80-59 victory in the first round of the 2018 NIT. Senior guard JoJo Cooper played at Tatnall, played at Concord, finished with 7 points in the contest. A 4-year member of the program, Cooper has been known league-wide throughout his career as an elite defender. He averaged 8.2 points a game last season as the native developed into one of the top 15 scorers in conference. This year, he had a career best 14.5 points per game and got first-team all-conference honors. He played, Cooper, who will be played in his program-leading 124th game against Baylor in that game, has scored double figures 28 times this season, 45 for his career, and has 6 different 20-point games this season. He's also become the 44th member of the 1,000 Point Club up at Wagner. So congrats to JoJo on a splendid collegiate career, and best of luck. Hopefully he can get an opportunity to play somewhere professionally.
Hopefully. Now, of course, we talk about Rider University and their basketball team. We think of Jordan Allen from Dover. However, we also remember the loss they had last night. They fell to number 3 Oregon, 99-86 in the NIT. In the first round of the NIT, with the loss, the Broncos, of course, will wrap up their season at 22-10. Allen in that game, 17 points.
And we got to talk a little bit about March Madness, right? So we talked about NIT. Let's talk about the big dance. Seton Hall men's basketball team is dancing for the 3rd straight year. They've earned an at-large berth in the 2018 tournament and have been placed in Wichita, Kansas as an 8th seed in the Midwest region to take on the Wolfpack of NC State on Thursday, tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, live on TBS. Why are we wishing them good luck? Well, Miles Kale of Appoquinimink, as a freshman, is playing on that team. So good luck to him and the Pirates tomorrow in the tournament.
And of course, we get to my favorite basketball program, Villanova, talking their women's team. Of course, they will be rewarded. They were rewarded for their outstanding season with an at-large selection to the NCAA tournament during a live selection show on ESPN Monday night. Villanova, the women's team, is the number 9 seed in the Spokane region and will play a first-round game against South Dakota, the 8th seed, South Dakota State, in South Bend. That'll be a Friday nighter at 7:30. We would like to congratulate Adriana Hahn and Grace Lang out of Ursuline and Caravel, respectively, and we wish them good luck in their game on Friday night.
And of course, let's talk about the men's program earning a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And of course, they had a 76-66 overtime victory over Providence Saturday to win themselves the Big East Championship. They end the year 30-4 and have won their second consecutive Big East tournament crown in the last 4 years. It's the 4th in program history. So then they end up making the tournament for the 3rd time, or they won the tournament 3rd time in 4 years. They drew the number 1 seed in the East bracket on Selection Sunday and will face Radford and Pittsburgh, PA at the PPG Paints Arena on Thursday, March 15th. Good luck, Dante DiVincenzo, Salesianum, and Peyton Heck of Archmere and their Wildcat teammates on Thursday.
Please don't mess up my bracket. All right, let's move on to Duke. Of course, Duke, the Blue Devils, the number 2 seed in the Midwest. We want to say good luck to Trayvon Duvall out of Sanford, as his Blue Devils will face, who are they facing again on Thursday night? They're facing...
I think they're playing, starts with an L. That tells you all I need to know because I got them winning.
They're going to more likely win their first round game. So, of course, good luck as we move on.
Like in the Hideout. I can't remember who it is,
something
though.
like that. Good luck in their first round matchup on tomorrow. Of course, we couldn't pick one player for our Player of the Week. We had to pick a bunch of them. That's because both teams, or I should say both players for their respective genders here, are champions nonetheless. The Conrad girls basketball team and the St. Elizabeth boys basketball team are our girls and boys players of the week.
Yeah, and like we said, if you weren't tuned in earlier, again, next week we will have both teams on set for a special championship show. Both teams, so be sure to mark your calendars next Wednesday, March 21st, 7 o'clock right here at the Hooters of Newark. Please come down, join us, or tune right in on our YouTube channel, Benny.
And of course, we want to plug really quick, Best Buddies of Delaware Blue Gold basketball game happening this Saturday, March 17th at the Bob Carpenter Center at 12 noon. The girls' game begins at 1 o'clock. The boys' game again will begin shortly following the girls' game. Player selections, the process is the same. At halftime, we select players that will compete in a slam dunk contest.
And you can see right now, I believe, rosters. No, not quite. Rosters on the screen. So you look right on the screen, you can see the rosters for both blue and gold teams in the boys and girls game. Tremendous event. Definitely get down there if you can. Check it out. Former players, Dante DiVincenzo competed in it. Brian O'Neill played in it. Miles Kale, we just talked about him, he played in it. JoJo Cooper, a lot of these great guys that go on to athletic success at the next level. Catch them all on the same team in an all-star game environment at the Best Buddies Blue and Gold All-Star Game.
And of course, we want to also say the Muscle Movement Foundation 5K. It's coming up April 7th, St. Mark's High School.
Absolutely.
Please register, and if you haven't already, join Team 302.
Correct.
All right, no top plays for this week, but we will send you out with highlights from our guest earlier today, Quadree Henderson, who will certainly be playing on Sundays. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again next week on 302 Sports Weekly.
Henderson off the skirt punt. Trying to get around the backside. And he'll break free.
Quadree Henderson. He's got a couple touchdowns already this year. And Henderson's into the clear. To the 20, to the 10. He's gone.
Henderson from the 1. Across the 20, sidesteps the tackler into the open field. One man to beat. He could go. The 40, the 30. No flags.
Bouncy number that Henderson plays on the fly at the 25. Looking for the edge. Inbounds 40, 45, 50. Look out, Henderson. 25, gotta beat him. 15, 10, 5. Did he get in? Kick the doggone thing in. Henderson stands his place on its head.
Part of it's the blocking, but a lot